Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Christian of the Lisa Christian Atelier brand. On today's episode of Mastering the Art of Garment Construction, we'll be looking at a topic I refer to as flares. There are actually different degrees of flares, but for today's episode, I'll be considering two. The first degree of flare I'll be considering is a 360 degrees flare. Assuming I have my piece of fabric on fold, and I get to fold it again. By that I mean I'm folding it into four, just like this. I take this as a center point of my fabric, assuming my waist is waist 30. I could just decide to use from this midpoint. I could decide to take say 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches. This is not a straight line, this is a curve. This curve becomes my waistline, and I measure this. I have 5.3. What do? I say 5.3 times 4. 5.3 times 4 gives me, say, about 20, 21. Gives me 2.2. So that's not enough because my waist size is 30. I decide to increase it. I take like say 5. I take 5 inches again, 5 inches, 5 inches, 5 inches, and I form an arc. I measure this arc, measuring this arc. Okay, let me take it this way. Measuring this arc, this gives me say 8.5. 8.5 times 4, that gives me 8 times 4 is 32. That gives me 34. Fine, this is perfect. Why did I say this is perfect? My waist size is actually 30, but here I have 34. Remember, we need to include our zip allowance, so the 2 inches can just go for our zip allowance. Alternatively, if you have something that's way bigger than 34, assuming I took say 6, I took 6, I took 6, I took 6, and my waist size is actually 30, and I measure it this way, I measure it this way, I measure it this way, and this arc gives me 10. So 10 multiplied by 4, I have 40. Remember, my waist size is 30. I need zip allowance. I could decide to use 2 inches or 3 inches. Using 3 inches means I'll be using 33, and I still have 7 left. Alright, this is the arc for my waist size, giving me 40, you remember? Alright, so this becomes my waistline, and whatever is left becomes the length of my dress. Assuming this is 6.5, 6.5, the paper is actually short, 6.5, 6.5, 6.5. This becomes the length of my skirt, while this is the waistline. Okay, let's look at this. Here is my flay. This is a 360 degrees flay, and this is what it looks like. This becomes the waistline, while this becomes the length of my skirt, or if I need to use it as a top or a sleeve or whatever, this forms the length. Remember, I said we had 30 over 30 inches. That was 40. At this point, what do? I notch this point, and I notch this point. Remember, here I have 2 openings, and here I have just one. On one of the openings, I cut off this piece. Then I'm having something like this. So this is the skirt. Here is going to form the zip allowance. I give like say 1 inch, both 1 inch. Use that as my zipper allowance. Remember, I told you that we have way more than what we were expecting. We have 40 inches, whereas our waist size was 30. What do? I need to ensure that this fits properly. I take the notched ends. This forms the waist side line. This forms the side of the waist, Here's the zipper, and here is the front. Around here, in between both, or at the waistline, or at this point, depends on however I could decide to pleat this point. I could decide to pleat this point. And I pleat behind as well until I get my desired waistline, which is 30 inches. So this is what your 360 degrees sleeve would actually look like. This is beautiful because we can incorporate this pattern into skirts, into sleeves, into waistline of dresses, and into full dresses as well.